Africa's Vision Network features African cultural awareness, education, economic empowerment, religion, spirituality, and other issues, focusing on the African world. I am Princess Ayo, your host for this show. And this is a delight for me because our guest today is one of our own young people. You know how we always bring them on. This girl has been our director in the past. She has been a camera person, and we are so proud of our own Miss Frances Breon Roberts Gregory. She is a senior environmental science major. I never heard of that, but she's going to tell me what that is. A Spanish minor at Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. She is originally from Arlington, Virginia, and entered Spelman with a Bill Gates Millennium Scholarship and National Achievement Scholarship from the Boulay Foundation due to her high academic achievement. Now, I knew about her high academic achievement, but I didn't know about this Bill Gates connection, but oh well. At Spelman, she has taken advantage of many research opportunities, internships, and extracurriculars, including serving as president of Spelman's Environmental Task Force during her sophomore and junior years, and becoming a member of Gamma Sigma Sigma National Service Sorority Incorporated. I know they have some kind of dance going on, some kind of yell, you know. However, we are most interested in the fact that during her matriculation at Spelman, she has actually traveled abroad and studied at 3 universities overseas, most recently South Africa for an entire semester. So, I mean, you know we're excited about our girl. She has studied abroad in Spain during her freshman summer and the Dominican Republic during her sophomore summer. She recently returned from studying abroad at the University of KwaZulu-Natal in Pietermaritzburg, South Africa, for a semester. She served as our director, as I told you, and camera person with Africa's Vision Network during her middle and high school years. Her mother and brother, both been on the show. I told you we grab family. Robin Roberts and Kofi are a part of the staff here at Africa's Vision Network. She is a graduate of Washington Lee High School of Arlington, Virginia, where she received the International Baccalaureate Diploma and was the valedictorian. Welcome to Africa's Vision Network.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
How do you feel being on that side of the camera?
It's kind of scary, but I'm getting used to it.
I love it when we pull them from behind and bring them to the front. Because, you know, here people don't understand that it's a volunteer service. We love what we do, and so we come on here. Nobody gets paid, and there are no advertisements, so we can really say what we feel. But the people that we have working with us are all so accomplished, and we're just proud to have you here.
I'm glad to be
to
here.
know you. Now, first of all, tell us what your major is, environmental science, and what is that about?
Yes, I'm an environmental science major at Spelman College. So basically, environmental science, it's a little ambiguous, but to me it means studying the interaction between people and the environment, and for me trying to find ways to mitigate different problems like pollution and other issues such as overcrowding population, like just a variety of issues. So I'm the one who would be studying global warming, I'm the one who might study forestry, I'm the one who might study toxic chemicals, a lot of different things, or even environmental justice.
Ooh. So the world now that's dealing with finding green spaces and talking about, that would be
environmental science as well.
Okay, that's what it reminded me of. Now, before we get onto the this latest travel that you've done, you went to Boulder, Colorado.
Yes.
At one point before you started, that was like the first place. Is that would you say?
Well, that was
while you were in school, anyway.
Yeah, that was during my sophomore summer. That was one of my internships, and I actually got to work with some really great mentors and study atmospheric chemistry. And I presented research in California and won at the SACNIS conference.
And atmospheric chemistry is what?
Basically, it's the chemistry of what's going on in the atmosphere. So I was studying ozone production in the troposphere, which is basically, you know, you hear there's smog, you know, you have those warnings on TV. I was studying how that ozone is produced that might cause those respiratory problems or what have you.
And because all of us are coughing.
Yes,
you know,
it's hot.
I mean, and asthma is just crazy.
Yes, that ozone would might contribute to problems people would have, especially African Americans.
Okay.
So it's an important issue.
It is. It's so important. So thank you for letting us know what that is.
No problem.
Now, you've traveled to Spain.
Yes.
That was the first thing.
Yes.
What was that like?
Spain was wonderful. That's the first time I received a passport. That was the first time I went on a plane flight for that long. It was a great experience. I met a lot of people. I improved my Spanish. Like, I was a Spanish minor, yes. Okay. And I definitely got to see representation of people of African descent in Europe, because there was a lot of immigrants from other African countries who lived there and worked there. So it was interesting learning from a different perspective.
Yeah, you never think about the people that would immigrate to Spain.
Yes,
from Africa.
Exactly.
Just like they do coming to America.
Exactly, the same thing. And so you see the people speaking Spanish, and you're like, oh, that's like similar to back home.
Right. Would you say they were there on different jobs, different?
Yes.
Just like they are here.
Exactly. Some people coming from war-torn areas or just for jobs, you know.
Now, you were on a campus there in Spain.
Yes.
On campus.
Yes, I was at the University of Malaga, which is in southern Spain, right at the southern tip. So actually at one time we were traveling and I saw the northern tip of Africa through like the bus window. So
oh, wow.
It was really nice.
How did the education environment there compare to Spelman? Because you were at Spelman at that time.
Yes. Well, when I went there, I went with a group of Spelman students with the Spanish department. So actually my class was just of Spelman Spanish students. But the professors there were very interesting because they just spoke in Spanish. There was no one saying, wait, you don't understand that? Let me break it down in English. No, everyone spoke Spanish. And I think you learn more like conversational Spanish or slang, because in America they often teach the proper Spanish. Yes, especially in school. Yes. So I got to experience some of the more common phrases and everything.
Do you feel like when you went there, if you can remember that, did you relate to the students? Did you, was it like same kind of young people hanging out together?
There were definitely a lot of young people. Where I live was right on the beach. So sometimes we would go to the beach and we would see students our age and we would talk to them in Spanish, and that really helped with our Spanish, because hanging out with people your own age, you really have to, it forces you to use your language, especially they speak no English. So
right.
It forces you.
So then you went to the Dominican Republic.
Yes.
Now what was that like?
Oh, I love the Dominican Republic, the culture, the music, the food. I had a wonderful host family. And there I really got to meet other students there who were our hosts, and they took us around. It was a wonderful experience, like definitely my number one. Is that the one
connected to Haiti? Is that the same island?
Yes.
Okay, Dominican.
Yes.
And you were with a host family?
Yes.
Was that different for you? I mean, in Spain, did you have a host family?
Yes, in Spain I also had a host family, but I would say I enjoyed my host family, Dominican Republic, a little more. My host mother was wonderful. She was an older woman, but like she was very hip to things going on, and she really treated me like I was her own daughter. So she was very experienced.
You feel that helped you to really find out who the people really were, because you were with it rather than a hotel?
Yes, definitely. Being with the host family, like you learn things about the culture. Sometimes I would sit on the porch with my host mother and the neighbors, and we would watch like the telenovelas, which are the soap operas. Like it was just wonderful.
How much fun is that? Okay, so now let's get to our trip of a lifetime.
Yes.
I feel like, being from Africa, your trip to South Africa. And I mean, how do you qualify for these things? I mean,
Well, at Spelman, where I attend, they have this initiative called Going Global, and they really want all the students, if possible, to study abroad at least once in a country. So, as you can see, I definitely took tried to take a part of the initiative. So, basically, Spelman has a study abroad office. I went there. I was like, well, I want to go to an African-speaking country, and the director worked with me. She showed me brochures and helped me pick the right fit for me. Okay. And from there, I applied to a program which has an agreement with my host university, and through that I did my forms, my applications, applied for scholarships. I received 2 scholarships, and you know.
So that's how you pay for the trip?
Yes, I used my scholarships to pay for the trip there.
Okay. Just for other young people to know how to do it. So you're qualified for it. You're chosen. Are you, or you just say I want to go?
Well, initially you have to take the initiative and say I want to go, and then you actually have to apply to Spelman. There's a committee, and you have to get recommendation from teachers, have a good GPA, you know, etc. But you have to actually show the initiative, and if you show the initiative, they work with you because they want everyone to go. Okay,
that's like in high school they would say, you know, you have to take one foreign language.
Yeah.
In their case, it's like you've got to go somewhere else besides here.
They're trying. It's not like you have to yet, but they're really, really trying.
That is awesome. And so you get ready to go. You're all saying goodbye to us. And so how did that feel like for you?
Oh, well, when I went to...
Leaving your mommy.
Yes. When I went to Spain, that was like, oh my gosh. But South Africa was, I think, the most painful because it was the longest time period. When I went to Spain and Dominican Republic, it was for 1 month, though. It's like, but South Africa, I was crying. Like, I was crying for like 2 or 3 weeks, like missing people before I even left. So that was hard.
Yes, it's such a different culture.
Yes.
It's a different side of the world.
Definitely.
I'm sure the air smells different. Everything, you know, so yeah, I can imagine. So you get there, and what was the life you had to have? What was the accommodation?
Well, I was a university student, so I actually stayed on campus with other university students, so I was immersed in that culture. And everyone was pretty friendly. It was very laid back, you know. University students are university students no matter where you are, so you had that aspect. But I feel like I really learned a lot. The education was wonderful, and enjoyed myself.
Now, we all who are here, we think of South Africa, we think of apartheid immediately, we think of separation, and so did you encounter that? Did you see anything? Like through your eyes, you go like, what was it really like between whites and blacks?
Right. I had the same perceptions before I even went there, but when I got there, I found that South Africa is really a very diverse country. And the university I was at, it was the Zulu homeland in KwaZulu-Natal, but there were Zulu students, Xhosa students, white South African students, Indian students. So everyone seemed to get along. But then again, I didn't go anywhere where I might not be accepted because they warn us not to go to places that might be dangerous for us to, you know, travel.
Okay, so among the students, because, you know, from Nigeria, I grew up on a campus. I mean, I grew up on a campus. My parents were teachers there, so I was always on the campus. So I know what you mean by we're not really outside. It's like you're in an ivory tower kind of situation. But you still do get the things of, I'm Yoruba in my country, and someone else is Igbo, and someone else is Hausa. And it's sort of a, you know, a difference. So did you detect anything like, I know they have blacks, coloreds, whites, among the students?
Yeah, I did. Since apartheid, I believe like everyone tries to get along and people are very diverse and more open-minded, but you could still see like, you know, who was who because, you know, oftentimes the black South Africans would sit together in the classroom. So you might see like a row of Indian students or white South African students sitting together. But then again, some people did mix it up when they were sitting in the classroom setting. So it really depended on the person, I think, maybe where they were, if they were from a city area or a rural area. So I saw diversity, but definitely people were very proud of their different cultures. Like people say, I'm Zulu or I'm Venda, you know, I speak these languages, so yes.
How did they receive you?
I believe I was well received. You know, everyone's like, oh, you're American. We want to get to know you. Come to our parties or come to our brides or come study with us or tell us about America. So
I feel they were like, come because, you know, you have money and I might have connections to America through you.
Well, maybe a couple. You know, there's always those type of people no matter where you are. But for the most part, people understood that I was a student and, you know, everyone's a struggling student no matter where you are. But there were some people who were like, oh, American, let's go out to eat. You.
Right. Did you feel as if you were dressed different? You stood out? I mean, because you're an American, or how were they dressed and how did they live?
When I went there, actually, I came with the mindset don't take anything. You might not want to get lost or stolen because you're going someplace new.
Right.
So I left a lot of my, I guess you could say, good things at home. But when I got there, no, the students were dressing up. They wore nice clothes. You know, they see the music, the videos, everything from their own country, from the other African countries, Europe, Asia, America. So, you know, they're very knowledgeable of what's going on. So,
I mean, I expect that because in Nigeria the same way. When Americans, when I was growing up in the 60s, when African Americans cut all their hair off, you know, then adult women would cut all their hair off because they wanted to look like the cover of Essence.
Right.
You know, so, you know, when you all started straightening your hair in America, then Nigerians, well, straighten my hair too, just like they are doing. So I expect them to act like that. So how did you go along with the food? It's really important to us. How did you manage?
Food is important.
Yeah.
Well, actually, when I was in South Africa, I was a vegetarian. So I actually, the way they have it set up there, there's no main cafeteria at my particular university, so I had to cook for myself. So I actually was grocery shopping and cooking things I ate back home. But I did get exposed to, like, the stews, and they have this thing called pub, which is like a mealy meal that they prepare. It's not grits, but it's kind of maybe close. In the same family. I also had they have braais there. They really love their meat. They love their barbecues. A braai is a barbecue, so you have the meat, the chicken, the sausage, the baked beans, all that type of stuff. So, and then there's peri peri chicken, which I believe is a Mozambique influence.
Okay. So you just get that influence from, because we point to South Africa, because
Right
where
there.
it is, and then over there the Indian Ocean.
Yes.
So we can see there would be influences.
Yeah, and I was actually, Pietermaritzburg is right on this coast here. Okay. So right near Durban, about 45 minutes.
Okay. And where else did you go?
I also was able to travel to Mozambique, and as you can see, South Africa is an enormous country, so I actually traveled within South Africa to Cape Town, Joburg, and Soweto.
Okay, okay. Great. Now, how is the life of a college student there? Now, I'm not trying to compare it to Spelman. I'm just thinking, you know, what's your life like? What's the study like?
Right. Well, while there, I actually took 4 science classes and 4 labs, which was crazy.
Wow.
But I actually learned a lot, and I find the students there to be very studious. Like, they find that education is their way to success, so they don't want to mess around with that. Like, everyone's studying. They have their study groups, and I actually learned some new study habits while I was there. So
I should think so, because often when we come here from anywhere in Africa, we're put up a grade.
Right.
And I think it is the study habits. You know,
right.
Now that you're back, or while you were there, were you thinking how your friends at Spelman study? And, you know, generally, did you see the difference? Right.
Well, most of my friends at Spelman are science majors, so they have wonderful study habits. But I did notice in general, especially compared to my high school experience, that the students there, they're like, oh, I definitely value my education. And a lot of times students here, we value it, but I don't think it's the exact same emphasis on it, because the whole community is like, you have to have an education to succeed.
So maybe there it's almost a life and death. You know, not
maybe.
quite death, but
yeah.
I mean, without it, you're all the way on another side.
Right.
And
exactly.
with it, you're on your way to somewhere.
Yeah.
Is that like the difference?
Yeah, I would say that people, they make sure their kids have good schools over there. They go to private school or boarding school, so education's important, especially since it was denied a lot of times during the apartheid era.
Right. So did you make friends, close friends?
Yes, I did. I met wonderful South African friends that I still keep in touch with. I also met a lot of friends, American friends that I hadn't known before I went to South Africa, as well as friends from Zimbabwe, Botswana, Malawi, so the surrounding countries, because it's an international school, so different students.
Did you cry when you left?
Yes, I did.
On the way back.
I was so sad to leave.
Sure.
I was crying.
Thank God for Facebook.
Yes, thank God.
Can you call? I mean, have you called anyone and talked
I've talked to people on the phone. I haven't personally called, but I've had people call me. But you can buy phone cards.
Right, phone cards.
You can use Skype. You know, the technology is endless nowadays.
Skype.
So.
Great. And that just sounds exciting. So you enjoyed your travel. Didn't have any mishaps.
Just a little, you know, everyone gets traveler sickness, you know.
Little problems here and there, but otherwise you were good. So what do you plan to do now? Where are you going next?
Next, everyone keeps asking that. I'm going to go somewhere. I'm not sure yet, but my senior year, after my senior year is over, I definitely want to go somewhere else. I want to go back to South Africa one day, but I also want to travel the rest of the world, you know?
Right.
Experience new things.
And when you go and you come back, you must come and tell us what
definitely.
happened.
I will.
Do you have any words for our people, not just young people, just anybody, for travel and, you know, life?
Right, life. Well, my words of wisdom are, you know, follow your heart, you know, be strategic, and just know that your potential is limitless. Anything you really want to do, you can do. You know, don't let anyone tell you no. Just find a way to work it out, and it'll happen for you. And have patience.
That's excellent. I needed that myself. Thank you so much.
Thank
we really
you.
enjoyed having you on this side
it's
of the
over.
camera. Can you believe it? It's only 2 minutes. You know, it's so great to have you on this side of the camera because you were such a great director.
Oh, thank you.
You were calm and you were relaxed. Well, from my station here, listening to you talk through the, you know, you were just calm and relaxed and you just sort of kept things going. We didn't have to stay here all night.
Well, thank you. I
So
appreciate
it's
that.
great having you as our director, and we hope you come back when we need you desperately.
Of course.
And so thank you for being here. Thank you, our audience, for tuning in. Remember a quote Malcolm X said, "Education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today." Please come again to another fabulous show on Africa's Vision Network. Travels.